Kilayim.
Right. Never mind. A horse may be tied to the one side, to the sides of a wagon, or to the
Wait,
back of a
just a
wagon.
second. Just a second.
I mean,
What Mishnah are we on now?
solid. Should be
Uh,
hay.
I think that should be. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, starting.
Perutos are forbidden, but the Ramak is permitted. Wild men like creatures are wild animals, and Rabbi Yossi says they convey tend to uncleanliness, as does a human being. The hedgehog and the weasel of the bushes are wild animals, and the weasel of the bushes, Rabbi Yossi says that Beit Shammai say an olive's bulk conveys uncleanliness by carrying, and a lentil's bulk by contact.
I'm curious what that Adnei Hasadeh is actually. Um, because it's they like to the point where they actually treat it as if it's a matame be'ohel. It means it's like
Uh,
a the same tumah as a human, which is quite a remarkable statement. Uh,
hmm,
anyways, you may carry it.
yeah. The wild axo is a kind of domesticated animal. But Rabbi Yossi says it's a kind of undomesticated animal. The dog is a kind of undomesticated animal. Your mayor says it is a kind of domesticated animal. The pig is a kind of domesticated animal. The wild donkey is a kind of undomesticated animal. And the elephant and the ape are kinds of undomesticated animals, and a man may draw a plow and drive with any of them. I beg to differ on some of these names. But, the Kilayim prohibition applies only to wool and linen. Only wool and linen are rendered unclean by Nagayim. The priests wear for service in the temple only woolen and linen. If camel's wool and sheep's wool have been hackled together, if the greater part is camel's wool, is permitted. But if the greater part is sheep's wool, is forbidden. If it is half and half, it is forbidden, and the same applies to linen and hemp hackled together. I never heard that word hackled. Did you?
I guess that's the thing that you do when you mix two different types of fiber together to make a thread.
Right.
Okay.
Thank
So that Mishnah, as I mentioned last time we met, is brings out the point that Kilayim is a Gezeres Hakasov. When it comes to plowing together, by mixing animals together and whatever, there it's any two different species. Whereas with
you.
shatnez is a specific thing that's only on wool and linen. It's not on any other species. Okay. Although, as we'll see in Mishnah base the Tana here says that there are some species that are forbidden midrabanan because they are similar to wool and to linen. So shirayim being silk, and kalach is something called cedar bast, I think they called it.
Oh,
Uh,
Bast, bast silk.
bast silk, right? So ein bahem mishum kilayim. Me'ikar adin, they are not kilayim. There's no shatnez by them. Aval. Asur mipnei maris ayin, because silk looks similar to linen and this bast looks similar to wool. Rabbanan asur it. Um, Actually, Kahati makes the point over here that even in the times of Bartanura, that's Rabbi Bartanura, who's like got the big commentary in the Mishnah. He said nowadays silk is so much more common that there's no way people are going to make a mistake and think that silk is linen. It's so there's no reason to answer it at this point. Anyway, hakarim v'hakasasos ein bahem mishum kilayim. So when it comes to cushions, pillows, no such thing as kilayim there, except bilvad shelo yehei basar nogea bahen. But if your flesh is actually resting on them, then yes, that does have a din of shatnez. So, for
Why
example,
would
what you
I'm sorry. Why would they use a pillow? Yeah, the pillow is sleeping on the pillow.
but if you're sitting on it and you're wearing your pants,
Right. Right.
so if it's something that's a seat cushion and
Mhm.
you said not wearing pants, that's fine. But if you're sitting on wearing short pants and your legs are getting hana from it, then that can be a problem. Okay. Um, Ein arai lekilayim. There's no din of arai. Like when we have achilas arai, we have, for example, with chumas and masras, that when you're out there in the field and you're just picking something and you can eat it straight away without chumas and masras, it's called achilas arai. Um, And the other things we're talking about, achilas arai, where it's where something is permitted, but achilas kavua is not. Um, and there are other halachas that also involve something that's arai. I think like some people have a heter for kalim, If a kli is used often arai, it's just as a chance thing, then you wouldn't need to toivel it. But if it's you're using it kavua, then you need to toivel it. So I'm not paskening on that one, but there is a das like that. Um, but when it comes to kilayim, no such thing. It's not just like, oh, let me just wear this once off. There's no such thing for shatnez. V'lo yubash kilayim afilu al gabe asara. Furthermore, you can't even wear it even if it's not coming into contact with your skin. So, for example, let's say you've got a big overcoat that's going over all the rest of your clothes, and it's not protecting your skin at all, but it's making you warmer. So you're getting that extra benefit.
Oh,
Okay, afilu lignovis ameches, and you can't even wear it in order to cheat the taxes. Now, red lights flashing over here in this Mishnah, right? Uh, but the commentators are very, very quick to point out that this is not talking about cheating taxes that are legitimately being collected, because there you have to pay. There's not even a havamina that you're allowed to do that. That's called stealing. Okay. But if it's somebody who is an unauthorized tax collector, and it used to be a bit of a wild west out there with in terms of tax collection. It wasn't an orderly system, everyone's got their number in the computer and we know how much you're earning and whatever. It was they used to outsource the tax collection to a local guy, and the local guy who's got the power
nah.
now says, oh, you know what, I'll take a little bit extra for myself, and before I give it on to the whatever. If in that case, then he's the thief, and you're allowed to take whatever steps you wanted to circumvent this moches. But if it's your shatnez, and he's trying to get you on the taxes of what you're of the clothes that you're bringing in, and you think, let me put this on. I was really going to sell it to the goyim, but yeah, in order to circumvent this cheat who's trying to take taxes off everybody illegally, I'm going to put this on to so it looks like just regular clothes, not commercial wears. And here the Mishnah is saying, sorry, can't even do that. Can't even wear shatnez for that. Okay. Gimel. Mitbechos hayadayim. Handkerchiefs. Something that's used. That's literally what a handkerchief is. It's for your hand, right?
Right.
Okay. Mitbechos hayadayim. Mitbechos hasfarim, or the cloths that are used for books. Mitbechos hasfag, or a shmata that you use for mopping up things. Ein bahem mishum kilayim. The Tanakama, you don't have to worry about kilayim there. This is not for benefit to your body. It's just for wiping up your hands, wiping up protecting the books, or soaking up stuff. Rabbi Eliezer Oser, and Rabbi Eliezer says this is a problem. And this is these things do have a din of kilayim, because whatever is wrapped around your hand, it turns out that your hand is ne'er.
Right.
Okay, and the halacha actually does follow Rabbi Eliezer. This is the Psak of Rambam. Okay, because has saparim as opposed to svarim. Look at this; it looks the same, but a sapar is a barber.
Right.
And everyone agrees about the barber's thing, that he wraps around you to catch your hairs. That's got a din of kilayim on it. You cannot use kilayim to wrap around the person. Okay. Daled tachriche hames umardas shel chamor ein b'hem mishum kilayim. So burial shrouds, dead people don't have to worry about mitzvahs. So you're allowed to bury the dead in shrouds that are kilayim. Umardas shel chamor, also the donkey's pack saddle. That's something that's just used for the donkey. The donkey is allowed to wear shatnez. No problem, you can use kilayim on there. Ve'lo yitain hamardas al kesefo, but that also means that the person is not allowed to make use of that pack saddle for his own purposes. Afilu lo tzia alei hazevel. So even if he's not wearing it as a clothing, he's just using it as a kli to carry out the garbage, because it's a convenient thing that holds a lot of stuff, and he wants to carry out the garbage over his shoulder. Still, if it's got kilayim in it, he's not allowed to use it. He can put it on the donkey, and the donkey can carry it out, but it's not for him to wear. Okay,
Okay. Let me
back
go
to
to
Vav Aleph.
what is an aris? If one plants a row of five vines behind a fence, beside a fence 10 tefachim high, and beside the ditch 10 tefachim deep, and four wide, it is given its tillage space of 4 cubits. Reb Shammai said one must measure 4 cubits from the body of the vines to the field. Reb Hillel says from the fence to the field. Reb Yochanan ben Nuri said all who say so are mistaken. Only if there are 4 cubits from the roots of the vine to the fence, it's given its tillage space, and the rest may be sown. How much is the tillage space of the vine? 6 handbreadths on every direction. And Rekiva says 3. If an aretz protects from a terrace, Reb Eliezer ben Yaakov says if he stands on the ground and gathers all of it, then it renders forbidden 4 cubits in the field. But if not, it only renders forbidden that which faces it. If Eliezer says also if one plants on the ground and one on the terrace, if it is 10 tefachim high from the ground, it does not combine with it. But if not, then it combines with it. If one trains a vine over part of a trellis frame, he may not bring seeds beneath the rest of it. If he brought, he did not render it forbidden. But if the new spread is, it is forbidden. So too, if one trains over part of a non-fruit bearing tree. Okay,
Okay,
we are to Demai. Demai. Okay.
Alad.
Uh, excuse me.
Yeah, based Alad.
All right. This if the sages do not require the bakers to separate anything except the quantity for true and meiser and challah. Shopkeepers may not sell demai, and all supply large quantities may sell demai. Who are those that sell large quantities? Wholesalers and grain dealers. Uh, but, Ramea says that if that which is usually measured in large quantities was measured in small quantities, the small quantity comes under the rule of large quantity. If that which is usually measured in small quantities is measured in large quantities, the large quantity comes under the rule of small quantity. Which is it? Which is a large quantity? For dry, 3 cobs, and for moist, 1 dinner. Rabbi Yossi says baskets of figs, baskets of grapes, or hampers of vegetables, so long as they are sold in lots, are exempt. Okay, and on to Makshirin.
Hold on a second. Did you do Aleph?
Yeah,
Yeah.
in the mind, there was one more. I thought
Yeah,
I
and
did
in
three.
Gimel Aleph, yeah.
I thought I did three. One may give the poor demai to eat, and Ashkenaz demai to eat. But Gamil used to give his workmen demai to eat. Wardens of charity, Beis Shammai say they should give the tithe to those who do not tithe, and the under tithe to those who tithe. Just everyone who will eat tithe food, but the Kachavim say they collect without question and distribute without question, and whoever wishes to tithes. Okay,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Akshirin Dalad Aleph.
I'll Regarding one who bent down to drink, the water that comes up in his mouth and mustache is included in the law of water is placed. But as for the water on his nose and on his head and his beard is not included in the law of water is placed. Regarding one who fills a barrel with water, the water that comes up on the outside and the rope that is coiled around its neck and the rope that is for its needs, this water is included in the water in the law of water is placed. How much is for its needs? Reb Shimon says a tefah. If he put it beneath a pipe, the water is not included in the law of water is placed. Regarding someone upon whom rain fell, even if he is in Avatuma, the water is not included in the law of water is placed. But if he shook it off, the water is included in the law of water is placed. If he stood under a pipe to cool off or to rinse himself in the case of a Tamai person, the water is Tamei. In the case of a Tahor person, the water is included in the law of water is placed. Regarding one who turns over a dish on top of a wall so that it will be rinsed, this water is included in the law of water is placed. If he turns over the dish so that the wall should not be damaged, the water is not included in the law of water is placed.
Actually, so today, Rav Haber was talking about how to dispose of truma if you're taking trumas and masras at home. So what do you do with your truma? And this is one of the things I actually did not realize, and I was just thinking of it with machshirin, um, is that it makes a difference whether the truma you've taken is tahor or tameh. And so, for example, I think like let's say I pick my lemons in the garden,
I,
uh, and I take my truma and maser from that. It's tahor, even though I'm tameh and whatever, because I've never wet the lemons. The lemons, since I picked them, they did not become wet. and therefore the lemons are still tahor. Whereas if, for example, I'm purchasing from somebody in the shuk and I'm not sure if they take trumas or masros, um, and let's say it's potatoes. Now
Right.
potatoes for sure have been washed,
Yeah.
um, so they'll be tame. And if I take trumas and masros from them, then it's truma tame. So the halacha there is that if you take if it's truma tahora and you can't give it to the kohen because what's he going to do with it? So if it's
Right.
tahor, you have to bury it. But if it's tame, you have to burn it.
Right.
Okay, so it's a different halach with the two, and really the eitzah, if you don't have any, if you don't have the ability right now to burn it, or you don't have wood or any practical way to burn it, then you wrap it up nicely and you throw it away. Okay, so that you're not mazik b'yadayim, um, but really the lechatchila din in disposing of truma is either burn or bury, depending on whether it's tahor or tameh. That's an interesting point there. Anyway, just wanted to mention
Uh,
about it.
Aleph
Okay,
Dalet.
Yud Tes Gimel I've got. Kalim. You're in
Oh,
Kalim?
Caleb. I was continuing. Okay. Okay. Caleb. Okay. Here we go. Yutes Vav.
Gimel?
Right? Yutes Vav.
Hell. Oh, I beg your pardon. I didn't move my bookmark. You're right.
Okay. If a bed was wound with a mizram and a corpse touches, they are tummy with 7-day tuma. If they separate from each other, they are tummy with 7-day tuma. If a sheret touches them, they are tummy with evening tuma, and if they separate from each other, they are tummy with evening tuma. Regarding a bed, those two long boards were removed and one fashioned new boards for it, and they did not alter the notches. If the new boards broke, the bed remains tummy, but if the old boards broke, the bed is tahor, for everything depends on the old boards. A chest whose opening is on top can become tame with corpse tuma. If it became damaged at its top, it became tame with corpse tuma. If it became damaged at its bottom, it is tahor, and then its compartments of tame are not considered connected to it. Regarding a shepherd's pouch that became damaged, the pocket within it is tame and is now not considered connected to it. Regarding a water skin whose side pouches hold liquid together with it and whose pouches become damaged, they are tahor because they do not accept liquids in the normal fashion.
Okay.
Okay,
That's it. Okay,
and
Sanhedrin.
we are on
We-
to
Oh, we're going
yeah,
to go into
Akos.
Makos today as well. Well, first let's finish Sanhedrin and then we'll do the first Makos.
Okay. And okay. We have Yud Aleph Hey. A false prophet is one who prophesies concerning that which he did not hear or that which was not said to him. He is executed at the hands of man. But one who suppresses his prophecy and one who disregards the words of a prophet and a prophet who transgresses his own words are executed at the hand of heaven, as it is stated, and I shall demand it from him. One who prophesies in the name of the strange God and says, "Thus said the strange God," is liable, even though he conformed with the law to render tameh that which is tameh, or to render tahor that which is tahor. One who commits adultery once she has entered the domain of the husband of marriage, even if she has not yet had conjugal relations, one who contabinates with her is strangled. The Zolim witnesses are the daughter of a Kohen, and the one who cohabitated with her. For all Zolim witnesses advance to the death of sect. For the Zolim witnesses are the daughter of a Kohen, and the man who cohabitated with her.
Adon
From the
Halach,
line.
Sanhedrin. Okay, Makos.
How is a woman dealt with? We testify that A is the son of a divorced woman or the son of a chalutza. We do not say that the witnesses should be made in instead the son of a divorced woman or chalutza, but he receives 40 lashes. We testify that he is liable to exile, that A is liable to exile, but we do not say that he should be exiled in his stead, but he receives 40 lashes. We testify that A divorced his wife and did not pay her ketubah, seeing that a ketubah will have to be paid sooner or later. If it is assessed how much a person would be willing to pay for the ketubah on the chance that she might become widowed or divorced, whereas if she died, her husband would inherit from her. We testified that A owed B 1,000 zuz, liable to be repaid within 30 days, and the debtor says within 10 years. It is assessed how much a man would be willing to pay for having to repay 1,000 zuz within 10 years instead of within 30 days. Okay.
Hey,
This was the first. This was the first. I think of the word just went out of my head. It was the first Steven that I had done Magos when I was learning with
oh, really?
Yeah, and the first one, Lagos.
Nice.
Yeah. It's almost like 23 years or something like that where we're learning together. It was my was in New York,
Wow. And you
80
still
years old. Yeah,
still
about it must
going?
be 3 years. Excuse me?
Still going?
Yeah, still going. So once a week,
Really?
only do it once a week because he that's the only time he has. He learns all day long. He's tired, learns anyway. Betza, that's another one we did.
Yeah.
Uh, okay. Um, One may send garments, whether sewn or not sewn, and even if they contain a Kilayim, if they're for the needs of the festival, but not a hobnailed sandal or an unwritten sewn shoe. Rabbi Yehuda says, nor a white shoe because it needs a craftsman. This is the rule. Whatever is usable on Yom Tov may be sent. Page. If it occurs after Shabbos, Beis Shammai says one immerses everything before Shabbos, and Rabbi Hillel says utensils
But hold
before
on,
the
hold on.
Sabbath.
Wait, I think you've jumped. We're on base Aleph.
Yeah, I do. If Yom Tov falls on Friday, a person is not to cook from the onset of Yom Tov for the Sabbath. But he may cook on Yom Tov, and if any is left over, it is left over for the Sabbath, and he prepares a dish before Yom Tov and relies on it for the Sabbath. And Shammai says two dishes. The Hillel says one dish, and they agree that a fish with an egg only counts as two dishes. If he ate it or it was lost, he may not cook another instead, but if any of it remained, he relies on it for Shabbos. If it occurs after Shabbos, Beis Shammai says one immerses everything before Shabbos, but Hillel says utensils before Shabbos, but a man on the Sabbath. Hey.
Hey.
We made a siyum,